welcome, welcome. This is Let It Out with Precious, and I am your very host, Precious. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be live on Let It Out with Precious channel to reach out to you. Normally we have our questions you'd ask on, you know, WhatsApp and Telegram where we can express ourselves more, and reach out to more people. But today I decided that I'm going to reach out to my people here on YouTube. All right, so stay tuned. It's going to be amazing. All right, so it's going to be amazing and it promises to be one that will help you. We'll be discussing as youth. So the topic for today is attention, affection, and the youth of today. Attention, affection, and the youth of today. As we all know that we live in a world where everyone can be so busy, everyone can be so occupied with whatever they're doing or with one choice of activities or the other. And in this particular world we found ourselves in, quite a number of us get, for especially the introverts, we tend not to be able to communicate with people more, and we need people to come into our space, for us to be able to get to understand them, know them, and perhaps get to talk to them and pour our heart to them. So this is us attempting questions on Let It Out with Precious, questions youth ask. As you know, it's questions youth ask. So it is questions, questions, and more questions. All right. Okay, so I'm excited once again that I'm the one, anchoring today's program. Thank God for that. All right, so yep. So there is one thing I will want us to know. Um, it is one thing to communicate. It is one thing to talk, and it is another thing to listen, and another thing to pay attention. All right, so quite a number of people communicate with other people. They find themselves talking to people, involving themselves in communication, but not everybody really pay attention to things, that the person he or she is going. Thank you so much. Thank you, dear. All right, so not everybody, you know, pays attention to, the communication, the topic of discussion that they are involved in. Have you ever had this? I want to hear that on the comment section. Have you ever had this experience whereby you are talking to somebody and then after giving your entire comment, after explaining everything needed, then you ask the person, like, what do you think? And the person is like, can you come again? Have you ever had that experience before? But this time around, we want to really, really explain. We want to really, pour out our heart on some things, because I've had communications with some people, and then they would tell you that um they don't find it easy to understand things that either their partners are talking about, or their family members. So in the course of this Let It Out with Precious questions in that section, we'll be answering questions, and I want you to stay tuned. If you have anything you would love to add to it, kindly don't hesitate. Just drop it on the comment section. I want to hear your own view. All right, so I don't know, let me read the first question. So hi, I have been talking to someone for quite some time, and we have been discussing for a long time. He calls me every day, he calls me every night. He will ask me what have I eaten and how my day is going. Then all of a sudden, I found out that he was entering a relationship soon. And then I asked him, I thought we were in a relationship, and he said, have I ever asked you out? Wow. Mm, that's deep. All right, so quite a number of people are not conscious of their heart. I want you all to know that we are love beings. And love beings means that we have the ability to love. We have the ability to fall in love. We have the ability to have feelings for people. But when you don't pay attention to it, it can easily, lead to something you don't like. And I don't tell people, I had a time to communicate with some people, and then I was telling them that you need to be conscious of the kind of attention you give people. You need to be conscious of what you're doing with somebody. I don't think it's a problem for you to ask someone that if you are communicating with the opposite sex, for example, for so long, it's not bad for you to ask the person, what are we? What are we doing? Why are we communicating? Why are we together? Because it brings issues like this. And then, for example, it can either be the male side or the female side. You find somebody falling in love, and then the person is like, it's not me. I don't know that we're going to have feelings and all that. We're just talking. No, draw boundaries. Draw boundaries. Draw boundaries. That when you are communicating with someone, you are drawing that particular space that this is what we are doing, this is what we are, and this is what we would like to do together. So that you don't create up unnecessary scenarios. For a lot of people have eaten breakfast, forgive me for that word, they've eaten breakfast from a relationship that never existed. Just imagine, a lot of people, they've eaten breakfast from a relationship that have never existed. So if you don't draw the line, if you don't set the boundaries, you will find yourself falling in and out from things you don't want to be involved in. You'll be finding yourself going according to the wind. So that is that on one question. But I would like to explain more on the topic affection, attention, and the youth of today. The reason for this is to help us understand, so we don't miss it out, especially, as young people. One thing I've noticed from our world of today is that we are always craving for attention. And is it bad? Well, if not properly handled, it's become bad. And most times, the reason why people crave for attention countless time, without placing a balance and can be easily manipulated on, is because most people are dealing with low self-esteem. Most people are dealing with low self-esteem. And through this whole atmosphere of low self-esteem, people find themselves craving for people to validate how they feel, for people to validate their person, for people to validate who they are. Attention is good, and attention has its own good form and also has its own bad form. Yeah. Attention in the sense that in its bad form is that when you crave for it too much and you're not able to build your space without the validation of others, you can't do anything. It's bad. But by the time you are, now I'm not saying that you should not seek the opinion of others, no, but it should not validate you. It should not create your existence. It should only contribute or shaping what you do. Now, I'm going to be saying some things. One of the reasons also that many homes are destroyed, many homes are in chaos, especially in this society, is as a result of people who pay no attention to to their partners, especially, or to their family members. Most times, let's go to the spouses. We find a lot of people who have, partners, and most times you feel that you know your partner more, and you talk. But I do ask many couples that, I have the privilege of counseling, and I ask them this question: in all your talking, do you communicate? Many people, battery low. Many people are always, are always communicating. Many people are always talking, but they find it, they don't communicate their heart. They don't talk about things that they are going through. You think you know them, but you don't. You think you know them, but you don't. You think you know them, but you don't. So, what am I saying? That we need to build channels, even in our homes, that we can communicate with people, especially husbands to their wife, wives to their husbands. Where you listen to the heart of someone. Most times people might not have the right words to use, but they sure need you to understand them. Most times we find ourselves in situations whereby you really want to express yourself, but you don't know how to. So you must be someone who pays attention to listen to the heart, to the mood, to understand where the person is coming from. And then sometimes people speak a lot by keeping quiet. People speak a lot by keeping quiet. So if you don't pay attention, to understanding their heart, now you can't understand everything, true, fine. But if you don't pay attention in understanding their heart, you will always lose them. I don't know if you're aware that Learning Out with Precious has a team called Team Rebuilders. And we are always conscious people that visit schools, communities, and different organizations. And one of the things we have found out in many homes is that many parents communicate, no, not communicate, I beg your pardon. Many parents talk to their children most of the time, but not all parents communicate to their kids. Then we're after giving, seminars and talking to these young people, you happen to let them sit down, and then you talk to them, you're like, can you tell me how you doing? Oh, then they say, I just want to tell you a few things. I don't know who I can talk to. Can I talk to you? And then you say, okay, let me hear you out. And then you begin to listen to them, only for you to find out that these children have been dealing with a lot, but their parents have no idea about it. Why? When you ask most of them, they will tell you that they've been finding it difficult to communicate to their parents. And then you hear cases like, my mommy will not understand. You hear things like, she will think I'm doing something else. And when you can't hold the heart, when you can't communicate with the heart of the child will always find solitude in another. If you have joined many of our programs, you will find out many cases. There was a time we had parents hangout, and so we decided that we were going to. It was a parent hangout, so the committees decided that they were going to give room for the children, to write down things that they've never told their parents, and then why Why writing it down? Said we're going to read it out to the parent, but it's going to be anonymous. You needed to see things coming out. And then we're asking parents, how is your communication with your child? How is your relationship with your child? And I do talk to them every day. Have you ever asked them, without calling them to the sitting room, have you ever gone to their room and say, I just want to know how your day went? Let me tell you something, children of nowadays especially can be so smart. Many of them don't really need you to. Most of them, they know what you want to say without you saying it. They're like, I know that's where she's going to. Can you turn the tables and say, let me go to my child room and just say, I just want to hang out with you. How are you doing? How's your day going? Can we have a alone time? You tell me about, not for you to start, a segment of, just listen to them and what they go through. We treated a time when we're having the parent hangout, and then we're treating the 21st century parent, and then we're examining things that happens to children of this century, and how it's different from back then of our parents and everything. And we got to understand that quite a number of children are going through a lot, and parents might think they understand it all, but listening would do a great justice to how they counsel. When the Bible says that train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. What many parent thinks is training up is catering, buying clothes, buying everything. From studies and experience and research, it's more than catering. It's communication, building a relationship, being both a coach, a mentor, a friend, and also being an authority in their lives. So let's not go too deep, in all of that. Let's go to some other questions. Now, for youth, especially dealing with the aspect of many people, have been in relationship that there was not an existing relationship, but they thought they were in a relationship, and then causing so many outbreaks. Um, you must draw the line. You must understand that you being a love being means that if you talk to someone that you don't even like every day, consistently, for long hours, you will, for long hours, odd hours, you will find yourself liking and falling in love with that person. So you must be able to draw the line with the communication you have with the opposite sex, especially. Don't let the wind toss you. Set principles, set standard, so that you will not be like this person wants a question that she was communicating with somebody. I can understand that you can have a friend that, yeah, you guys might be so cool, and then you want to talk to each other, you want to interact with each other, and then oftentimes while you interact, while you communicate, you find yourself, well, this person is really good, and then you keep communicating, you keep asking everything. But hey, draw the line. Draw the line. Now let me ask you another question. Yeah, so I'm going to throw the question to you because somebody brought the question to me. I want to make sure that I'm attempting some questions. All right, so somebody brought the question to me, and the person said, Precious, what can I do? So he was saying that how that his ex is always talking, not his ex, his girlfriend is always talking to her ex, Let me go to the question. So I am. So hi, precious. So I need your advice on something. So my girlfriend is always talking to her ex, but she says that they are only friends, and I'm not cool with that. What should I do? All right. Hmm. You know, a lot of people will start bringing justifications in their head about this whole question. But the truth is, this was someone you were once in love with. And I'm not saying you should be enemies with that person, no. But there should be, it said communicates every day. There should be a line. There should be a line. There should be a point whereby there are boundaries and there's respect for who is in the picture now. Yeah. Because constant attention produces affection. So there should be a line of the kind of communication you're having with such person, such history, so that you don't find yourself flowing and you were like, I don't know where it all started from. No, it started from somewhere. Am I saying that you cannot be friends? You can be friends, but it has to be distance. Let there be a gap because you want like this person. So you need to communicate it. Most times also, some guys or some ladies might not be comfortable with their partner talking to their exes and then they don't tell them. They assume they ought to know. Now I tell people that relationship is through interaction, which means that you should communicate. Don't assume. Assumption is the lowest form of intelligence. So when you begin to assume things, you create unnecessary things that are not actually supposed to. So you must always constantly communicate. Hi, I don't like what is happening. I'm not comfortable with you talking to this person. I'm not, and give reasons also so that you can help the person understand more. All right. So don't just assume the person ought to know it or should know it. You give reasons. You help the person build up to that space that you are, to that level of understanding that you want that person to be. You don't just assume. You don't just assume. You build the person. Communication are steps. Communications are steps that draws you closer to the understanding of the person who started the communication. So anytime you are communicating with someone and the person has not understood your point, it's your job to bring the person to that space. And this should happen to all couples. You don't just assume people should know, or your partners should understand you. You build that person. You build a communication. No talk. A lot of people talk thinking they communicate. You build a communication saying that I want you to understand this is where I'm coming from. And that is how you are able to create a space where the individual can listen to your needs and your grudges. So I'm advising all youth like myself. I know we are passionate about I can't wait and all that. You understand what I mean? But set boundaries so that you don't get your feelings hurt. And know that if you don't like a particular person, don't build up continuous attention, so that you don't create things in the person's heart. You might not feel anything, but the other person can, especially with the opposite sex. Now, questions you'd ask, this is me rounding off soon. Questions you'd ask, it's a period where we communicate, we bring our hearts together, we draw, plans on how we can be better, what we can do better. So please, I beg of you, if you have not followed this, you've not subscribed to this channel, you need to, so that it can help you build you to pour your heart, communicate with someone. We are available on Facebook and Let It Out with Precious. You can follow us there. You can join our WhatsApp channel. You can join our Telegram channel, to communicate with us. We are also available on Instagram at Team Rebuilders. Team Rebuilders, you can follow us there. Please share to your family members, share to everyone around you. Be a part of it. Thank you so much, everyone. I am Precious and I love you all. Bye.